Hello, and welcome to Stop Now, a social experiment enterprise where we stop, listen, and share. Happy New Year, everyone. It is 2023, and we are glad to see you in this new year. You might notice my voice is a little shaky this week. That's because I had so much fun ringing in the new year. But we're gonna have a lot of fun this week because I'm very excited to talk to an old friend and a new friend, perhaps. But before we get into that, I gotta let you know who I am. I am Nate Milton, and I am joined by Amer, I believe. Is Amer back for the new year?
Annette, you well?
Happy New Year, Amer. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, thank you.
It is always good to see you, Amer. I know it's going to be a good week because Amer is here. But we also have some special guests this week, so let's not waste any time. Let us introduce them. First of all, as I mentioned, he is an old friend to us here at Stop Now from Eyes Open International. Harold Souza is back. Harold, it is so good to see you. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, Nate, and Happy New Year, Stop Now. And Happy New Year to my friends, Amar and Shannon. And appreciate what Stop Now is doing for the year 2023. Thank you, Nate.
Thank you, Harold, as always. We appreciate you making time for us. And as you mentioned, we have a new friend to introduce to the folks this week. Shannon is with us. Shannon, I am not going to start the year off by stepping all over your last name, so I will allow you to bring that to the table. Shannon, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm
Thanks
great.
so much. Thanks so much for having us on. We appreciate it.
Awesome. So the folks out there, they know a little bit about what Harold does. They've seen him on our programming from time to time, and we're all very familiar with the great work that Harold is doing. But maybe for a little bit of an introduction to the folks out there that might be wondering, what you do, what your passion is, how you find your role in this fight. Can you give us a little bit of background about yourself?
Sure. So my name's Shannon Majewski. I'm the Senior Director of Collective Impact with the Collaborative to End Human Trafficking here in Cleveland, Ohio. Like we talked about a little bit about before, we really are an organization that has 4 pillars. We don't provide direct service, but we do education and awareness in our community, law enforcement training, healthcare, really anywhere you name it. We're really trying to focus on education, law enforcement, healthcare. One of the other pillars is our technical and training assistance. So we can go in and provide technical and training assistance to organizations that have maybe a drop-in center. Actually, Harold was a part of our first training and technical assistance this last year. We actually went to a drop-in center, and our Survivor Advisory Council helped that organization really look at what they were doing. Were things working? Could they do things better? What could they improve on? One of the other pillars that we have is our Survivor Advisory Council. And this is something that I would love Harold to talk a little bit more about as well, but something that not many other organizations have, our Survivor Advisory Council. So our organization, the Collaborative to End Human Trafficking, currently has 10 survivors of both sex and labor trafficking who really sit on our advisory council and advise our organization. We really try to be survivor-led in our organization. They help with content planning, they help with our programming. So that's a huge piece to our organization. They also too are compensated for their work, which is an incredible opportunity for us as an organization to be able to compensate for their time and their lived experience. And then the other piece that we have is our Greater Cleveland's Coordinated Response to Human Trafficking. And that's 70 partner organizations, over 70 partner organizations in the greater Cleveland area, law enforcement, educators, healthcare providers, you name it, direct service providers that really come together every other month to talk about what we can do better in the community to help prevent human trafficking. So though we don't provide direct service, there's many opportunities for us to continue making a difference in our community and hopefully one day end human trafficking.
And I'm glad that you kind of mentioned that collaborative spirit, because that's something that Harold has always talked about every time he stopped by to talk with us. So Harold, was there something in particular about the work that Shannon and the rest of the team are doing that kind of got your attention and made you want to partner up?
Yeah, I think it's a blessing. I always believe that we should connect for a cause to combat human trafficking. And I got connected with Collaborative to End Human Trafficking. It's almost going to be a year in the month of February. And the unique part of Collaborative to End Human Trafficking is that they started a survivor advisory council where they appointed like 10 survivors. And the best part is that they are moving, they are changing, they are progressing, and they're cultivating new methods and technologies as we are taking every step. So to begin with, number one, they believe in empowering survivors to thrive. I believe that every survivor should thrive, because behind every survivor, whether it's a male or a female, whether it's a man or a woman, he or she is either a father, a son, a wife, and they got kids. So when you empower the survivors, the entire family is being taken care. So Collaborative to End Human Trafficking is compensating all or paying honorarium very happily and willingly, joyfully to the survivors. So that makes it very unique, and which I really respect and regard. But I really respect what Stop Now is doing, or JK and Nate, you're doing. I'm very happy that to see Amar from Bangladesh, so getting different people from different countries and getting them engaged in this Stop Now movement of human trafficking, because I always share that America is the destination, but countries like Bangladesh, Mexico, Nepal, India is the source. So we need to create awareness in the source country and ensure that victims do not get manipulated, tricked, and trapped and come to the US. So you might be knowing a classic example of January 19th of 2022, where a family from Gujarat died on the border of Canada and US, just 12 meters away. Husband, wife, 11-year-old daughter, and a 4-year-old son. So I believe that just creating awareness, like this is a human trafficking month. So I'm very happy that Stop Now is organizing this event. And since I'm right now on the show and Shannon is here, I'd like to share that Collaborative to End Human Trafficking is creating an awareness month by survivor-led organization. They're having a 4th series. They already had one on January 4th. The second one is on January 11th at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's the labor trafficking fundamentals. Yes, here, that's good. And on January 11th, I would request everybody to join this event. You can register there. It's free. And Rachel Socorro, who is a survivor. And see, that is one thing I like about Collaborative to End Human Trafficking. I'm not trying to boast or I'm not trying to brag, is that Rachel was like me on the Survivor Advisory Council. But today, she has been engaged and employed at Collaborative to End Human Trafficking as a program coordinator, right, Shannon? If I'm not mistaken. And she's doing a wonderful job. So that really makes me feel good that they are here to get back the survivors in the community. And that is what we want. And coming down to what Stop Now is planning to do is to stop human trafficking. We are here to support you. And I always tell that teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes.
Thank you, Nate.
Thank you, Harold. I think one of the things that we've talked about before is that transition from victim to surviving to thriving. And so, Shannon, when you talk about kind of this mission that we're all engaged in, what was it that kind of was the inciting incident? What gave you the impetus to kind of join this fight?
Well, we had a short conversation earlier about this. I went to Nicaragua in 2009 on a mission trip. Have been in nonprofit my entire career, and went on this mission trip and worked with girls that were specifically living in the trash dumps. And they were being sold by their parents for the incoming trash so that they could make a couple dollars. And the impact of spending a month with them was so impactful on my life. And that was in 2009. Obviously, human trafficking was around, but we didn't talk about it as much as we talk about it now. The awareness is so different now, moving in the right direction. And that really was an impactful month spent in Nicaragua. And that was always in my heart and something I always wanted to do. And Harold mentioned Kirsty, our president, before, and I have had a good relationship with her, and she fell into this role as president of our organization and brought me on. So it's been a really great experience. Other than my experience in Nicaragua, I don't have a lot of experience with human trafficking, but through our Survivor Advisory Council, I've learned so much in the year that I've been with the organization that I think together, collectively, one day we can end human trafficking. So the excitement around that And the continuous learning that I experience myself is something that really makes me even more passionate about this.
Yes, and of course, folks, we are here with Shannon Majewski as well as Harold D'Souza, and Amer is here with us for the first episode of the new year. Of course, as Harold mentioned, this is Human Trafficking Awareness Month. And I think one of the big things that you talked about, Shannon, is not just the awareness, but also the education, because I've been with Stop now for going on 3 years now. And before I joined up with the organization, I was aware of the concept of human trafficking or sex trafficking or labor trafficking, but it didn't feel real in a sense. And so when you start working and you're hearing stories from victims and survivors and you see what's going on, is there something more that we or any of these organizations can do to kind of get the message out and kind of let folks know, like, it's not like you see on TV or not like you see in the movies, like this is a real issue that's happening?
Yeah, I think just being aware of your surroundings, obviously all of the time, and really coming to us. There's many different organizations around the country that do education within human trafficking. We specifically can come in free of charge to train any type of business organization. We've got many different depths of education that we can provide, from 101 human trafficking, which is our basic fundamentals of human trafficking, to really advanced education. So I really encourage anyone out there that's interested, that want to train staff, even if we think so much about it. Human trafficking happens everywhere. It's not Taken, the movie. Does that happen? Sure.
Yeah.
Where the white van pulls up on the side of the street and takes somebody. Does it happen? Absolutely. But it's not how human trafficking truly is seen. And I just think it's important for everyone to have even a basic fundamentals of human trafficking training, just to be more aware. You could be out anywhere and see something and be able to help somebody out of a situation potentially.
Well, you mentioned Taken, Shannon, and speaking of someone with a very particular set of skills, Harold D'Souza. Harold, what have you been up to since the last time we caught up? I know you've been abroad, you've been kind of doing the work and helping to raise this awareness and raise this education. So can you kind of catch the folks up on what you've been up to since the last time we spoke?
Yeah, I will share that, but I'll continue with what Shannon said, and what the question you asked is that today, whoever is watching this Zoom call or this podcast, but there might be a family who's watching it, and that family is very affluent, but that family might not be knowing that his or her son or daughter is a victim of maybe labor trafficking or sexual abuse or LGBTQ harassment. This happens in affluent families, and many times the parents are not aware because the kids don't tell them. And that's the reason I want to share on this particular platform of Stop Now to all my audience, whether it is nationally or globally, that if you or anyone you suspect is a victim of labor exploitation or sexual abuse or LGBTQ harassment in the United States of America, please dial 1-888-373-7888. So this is a national human trafficking hotline number. So whenever you call this number, you will not get into any problem. But if you give them the tip, that person will be rescued. And like you asked Nate, like labor trafficking in the United States of America happens at gas stations, convenience stores, motels, restaurants, massage parlors, agriculture, farming, and various other areas. Because these are the certain areas where I got re-victimized. And I'm talking from my own personal experience. So what Stop Now is doing, or what Collaborative to End Human Trafficking is doing, is engaging survivors, is very, very crucial. So if any victim is watching right now, or if any survivor is watching right now, I just want to inspire them that everything is possible. You can live your life with freedom. What your mind can conceive and believe, you can achieve. I do not believe in the word impossible. My perpetrator had told me loud and clear, it's impossible, because they use 4 words. I'll get you arrested, I'll get you handcuffed, I'll get you jailed, and I'll get you deported. And he's told me that it's written in my fate that I'll be a slave. I don't believe in destination. I change my own destination. So I just want to, like, coming down to the question, like to ask, like I've been traveling globally. So I was in India. I did a couple of presentations. So there is a Bollywood biopic, blockbuster, silver screen movie coming on my story from India to the White House. It's a divine blessing. Good wishes of all of you and all the audience. I never dreamt. So I was invited there because the Indian government has given the approval to do a biopic on me. I'm also learning as I'm moving ahead with this Bollywood delegates. And the Indian film industry has given the approval to make a biopic on me. So I have signed the life right agreement.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to do the role. There'll be a professional actor who will do the role. So they're writing the script. I cannot talk much about it right now, but that's one. And number two is that Martin Sheen, everyone knows, the Hollywood actor, and he's from Ohio. So he's the executive producer for a documentary called To Be Free. And Benjamin Ryan Nathan from New York is the producer and director. So the teaser trailer is out, and the name of the teaser trailer is To Be Free. So I just want to end on one note that survivors are poor starters, but strong finishers in life. And if anybody is watching this show right now, I just want to end on one note, Nate, with due respect to Shannon, Amar and JK and Stop Now, is that making a mistake is not a mistake. Making no mistake is a mistake. Repeating a mistake is a big mistake. But learning from your mistake, like from my own mistake, and empowering the community members to live a happy life is not at all a mistake. Thank you.
Thank you, Harold. And again, I've been talking about this for I think the last time we talked too. I'm excited to see the documentary and the movie when the movie is made, because I do think there are people that can be helped from your story and seeing your choices and the decisions that you made to move from being trapped to being free. And I think that's a story that can help a lot of people, Harold.
I totally agree with you. And I always believe that charity begins from the house. So since I'm in Ohio, I collaborated to end human trafficking with Stop Now. And most important, I just want to empower all the family members or victims or survivors on this show, is that if I'm not good with my wife and my two sons, if they're not doing good, I don't want to be at the White House. I don't want a biopic. I don't want Martin Sheen to do a movie on me if my family is not doing good or are not happy. I always believe freedom and happiness begins from the house. So I'm very proud to say that today both my sons, Bradley, he's in California, working for the last 9 years for Tesla. And my younger son, he's based in Chicago right now. He's also got a full-time job at Tesla. So it's a blessing. So we got to take care of our kids and of our family. And that is the first step towards stopping human trafficking, that we first got to take care of our own family first, and then our friends, our neighbors, and the community members. Thank you.
Thank you, Harold. And Mayor.
Question.
Yes.
Harold. Nice to meet you, Harold and Shannon. So what is the end goal? Is it possible to stop human trafficking?
I believe everything is possible. We cannot leave this to the Joe Biden or Christy Monsi or Shannon, or who's the president and CEO, or law enforcement agencies or government officials. We as community members need to step out and contribute. Everyone, like you, Amar from Bangladesh, Nate from here, what JK is doing. We need the support of the government. I don't say no. We need the support of the law enforcement agencies. We have to make some amendments. We need the support of IOM, like International Organization of Migration of different countries. We have to put law in order. It's not that there has to be some changes, like what the US government has done. They got introduction of CP, continued presence, the U visa, the T visa. But we have to ensure that this is being implemented, executed, and given to the victims. So that's, again, there are some gaps. It's not that there are no gaps. There are gaps, but we got to bridge those gaps. But who's going to bridge those gaps? You and me. I always believe that if I have to change, people tell me, come on, that's of the government. Why am I sitting on this chair and just talking? If I want to change the world, I need to step out. I have to get out of my comfort zone. And I'm very proud to say that there was no law on human trafficking in Ohio in 2002 during my case. And I was shocked. There were 6 states. But today I take the pride that what a common man or a common survivor can do. In 2012, the governor passed a law. I fought tooth and nail. My trafficker hired a guy to kill me. But did I die? No. Because in my destiny, it's all written on the top. So you cannot fix my death. So, but that does not stop me from pursuing what I want to pursue. So I always tell, my trafficker said, Harold, it is impossible. I told within myself, I didn't tell him on the face, but I had to tell myself, Harold, I am possible. Thank you.
And Shannon, I think, my last question for you, and we definitely will need to do a part 2 and a follow-up, because I think we're just kind of scratching the surface here. But when you look at this new year and you look at a lot of people that are in a situation like Harold said, that might need to be told that they can do the impossible, they can break these bondages, they can break these chains. What is something that you're excited for, whether it be more collaboration, whether it be, education, or working with different organizations? Or one of the things I always think about is law enforcement, and kind of their part in this solution to this issue. So maybe what's one or two things that you're excited about for this new year, Shannon?
I mean, all of the above. Everything you just mentioned. I think we really have the opportunity to empower our survivors so much more. Provide them with professional development training, things that we as employees of the organization have the opportunity to do. So being able to really empower our survivors more and truly be survivor-led, that's something very exciting to me. And I think the education piece, we have the opportunity to train so many more. Like you said, law enforcement is important. Our educators, really looking deep into it. It happens in older adults, but it also, think about children and what technology has done to us and what the pandemic has done to us. We have the opportunity, I think, to really reach younger children and really into the school setting. So I think trying to really empower, educate, and really bring more awareness to human trafficking is what I'm excited about most. And
where can folks go to find out more information about the work that the Collaborative to End Human Trafficking is doing, Shannon?
So we're on all social media outlets, Collaborative to End Human Trafficking. If you look that up, we're in Cleveland. You can go to our website. It's collabtoendht.org. We've got all of our trainings, our upcoming trainings. We do monthly trainings virtual. So Harold mentioned we have Rachel, who is one of our program coordinators, who's a survivor. We also have another survivor. So we actually employ 2 survivors who are on staff. And Alicia is another program coordinator of ours and does phenomenal trainings monthly virtually. So if there's anybody out there looking, interested in a human trafficking 101 training or more in-depth training, those are all on our website, and we'll continuously update those.
Well, thank you so much, Shannon Majewski. Before we get out of here, Amer, any final questions for Shannon or Harold?
Yeah, sure. I have another question that only if we play the role to stop human trafficking ourselves, is it possible? Or if government take the action to stop it, what do you think, Harold or Shannon?
I think so. I think it's going to take some time, but I think the more we can educate and work together collaboratively, I think we truly can end trafficking.
Yeah, Amar, like Shannon knows, like on January 26th, the Attorney General of Ohio is organizing a human trafficking summit, where I think Collaborative to End Human Trafficking is presenting. I'm presenting on labor trafficking, frog in a well. So getting engaged with the law enforcement agencies, with the government officials, NGOs is very important, and we can make it happen, number one. Number two, what Nate, you said, I want to share here on this platform, that the challenges being faced to stop human trafficking. I've done a research that today in the US, we need a male shelter home. So that's my dream project I'm working on, to start a male shelter home in the US, not only for foreign nationals, even for the Americans. Because there are many male victims, but there is no safety, security, or stability for them. if they're trying to fight for justice in the case of labor trafficking, number one. Number two, I'm working on a project for expungement in the case of victims of labor trafficking felonies. So we have expungement in the case of sex trafficking, but not in the case of labor trafficking. So these are two projects I'm working on. I request humble support from all the community members, like to support my passion, my dream. And I have a non-profit called Eyes Open International. So you can go on the website, that's www.eyesopeninternational.org. So if any way that you can support this mission and passion and dream of my project, because this is going to benefit a lot of not only foreign nationals or immigrants, but even American male victims and survivors. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Harold. And again, hopefully somebody out there who is watching this can be inspired or educated or made aware from the conversation that we've had this week. But that is going to do it. That is, the time is running slow. The time is running tight. On the clock, JK is somewhere in the atmosphere. I want JK to feel better. He was probably out partying too much with me on New Year's. That's why he's not here this week, folks. And I'm going to say it because he can't stop me from saying it. But we have had a wonderful time with our old friend Harold D'Souza and our new friend Shannon Majewski from the Collaborative to End Human Trafficking. Harold, of course, from Eyes Open International, and Amer. Always good to catch up with you, my friend. So for any other information for folks out there that want to learn more about these organizations, you can go to our website at stop-now.org and find out more about our guests and some of the work that they are doing. But that is going to do it for this week's edition of our talk show. Again, want to thank Harold, want to thank Shannon, want to thank Amer, and we want to thank you for watching. So for JK, wherever he may be, I am Nate, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.